Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this Digital Accountancy Show webinar. Thank you for being with us. My name is Dan Cockerton. I'm the founder of the Digital Accountancy Show. Thank you for being with us. Just to run through some quick housekeeping before we get started. So today's webinar is going to last 60 minutes. There is a chat box and Q&A in the control panel on the right-hand side. So if you do have any questions as we go, feel free to put your questions in there, and I'll do my best to ask the presenters as we're going through their presentations and demos today. We are recording today's webinar, so if you'd like a copy of the recording, please do let me know and I can send that out to you once the webinar is completed. And just to get the best webinar experience, I'd recommend closing down your browser and other applications so we don't see or hear any echoing as we go through. So today's agenda, I'm just going to give you an update on the Digital Accountancy Show. We're then going to hear from ApprovalMax. We're then going to pass over to Leased, then on to MyWorkpapers, and then finally on to Fluidly. So if I can just take you back quickly 12 months ago, where the idea for the show came from. So for those of you that know me, I worked at Xero for a number of years, and in that time I managed over 200 firms of accountants, and often in my meetings with those accountants, we'd spend half the time on talking about deploying Xero and cloud migration, and the kind of rest of the meeting would be looking at what other apps and software exists that integrate into Xero and other cloud platforms. And often I would get asked which apps should we use for this particular client, or which practice management software would you recommend? And often the amount of technology that's available in the market can be sometimes a little bit overwhelming. So we felt like there was a knowledge gap in the market surrounding the amount of apps and technology that's available. So in February 2019, I left Xero to start two new businesses, actually. One of them being the Digital Accountancy Show, which is now ventured into online publishing through our magazines and webinars. And the main aim of our business is to help accountants explore the opportunities in moving towards a fully automated, fully digital future. When we set the show up, we estimated we could build an event for around 500 accountants, bring some really great software companies and apps into one room and have some really great conversations about the direction of the profession and the impact that technology can have. And I'm pleased to say that today we have over 2,500 accountants signed up to the show in March. If you're not registered, please make sure you do today. Registration closes at 2 p.m. today. You can go to digitalaccountancyshow.com to register your place. It takes place on the 26th of March at the new Tottenham Stadium. So I'm just going to quickly run through what we've got going on at the show. We've got a tech academy, which allows you to kind of sit down, deep dive into some of the products and hear from some accountants that are doing some really great things and really using technology in great ways. We have our app village, which will consist of the 4 companies that are on today's webinar. There's over 60 apps and software companies for you to have some great conversations with. We have the App Advisory Hub, which is a whole part of the show is dedicated to app advisory and how you can introduce that service line into your practice and help clients like never before. We've got a Scale Up networking zone, which is all about conversations on how we scale up to that next level and how technology can play a part in that. We have 12 digital experts on the day who will be on hand to help you, giving free advice on technology, on your practice, workflows and processes. We have our lightning talks, which will be 20-minute talks from some specialist people in the industry. And then we have our knowledge hub as well. We also have Digital Accountancy magazine, which we launched a couple of weeks ago. So if you haven't been over to that yet, please head over for your latest content on digital transformation, apps and technology for your practice. And that's at digitalaccountancy.com. So I'm pleased to welcome today 4 really great apps from the cloud ecosystem. Feedback I hear on all of these apps is really great, and we've specifically asked them to attend today's webinar. A big warm welcome to Maria from ApprovalMax, Alex from Released, James from MyWorkpapers, and Gareth from Fluidly, who have all been given the task in 15 minutes to give us a snapshot into their products, into their business, and how they can help you and how they can help your client base. So without further ado, I will first hand over to our first speaker today, over to Maria. So Maria, I'm just going to pass the screen over to you. It's all yours, Maria.
Yes, hello, Dan. Thank you very much for inviting us, and hello, everyone. So let me very quickly start. So I'll do a very quick introduction of what ApprovalMax provides in context of Xero. And for further questions, we'll be very happy to do a dedicated demo for everybody who is interested. That's available on our website. So again, the story will go around the Xero integration that we provide. So as the name suggests, we deal with approvals, and pretty much we work with Xero. That is the system of records and the central point of truth for us. We provide approval automation for Xero, and speaking largely about it, it's approval-driven financial controls for accounts payable and accounts receivable. Systems that we replace are 90%, it's paper-based or email-based approval routing. That's very error-prone, that's very time-consuming, and that does not work for cases when there is a higher need for compliance requirements, or there is a need for to take care of multi-entity organizations. Overall, we ensure that there is due spend control and that there is regulatory compliance for both internal accounting and for financial service outsourcing organizations. We have been with Xero for about 4 years now, and we're very happy to and very proud to say that we have been named a preferred partner last year. So that's the top app partner. And so we keep our focus on the best customer experience. So we get a 5-star rating in the Xero ecosystem. We have been featured in a couple of Xero's app advisory playbooks, specifically for cash flow and hospitality. And we're very much excited about the App Partner of the Year award that's going to be announced in March this year. So moving on, in a nutshell, what is it that we do as a product? So the core functionality is the approval matrix. So the approval matrix allows to define multi-step and multi-row authorization processes. So again, we allow to automate the approval routing, which is the core capability. We also allow to automate notifications. That is that as soon as a request for approval.
Maria, sorry. So the screen that we can see is your PowerPoint screen with the slides on, and it hasn't moved first slide yet.
Which is slide number which for you?
We're on.
I'm on slide number 4.
So we can see. I can see you're on slide 1, but I can only see something's happening.
Something's happening, right? So is it better?
No, it's just a blank screen at my end. Are you on 2 screens?
Yes. No, I'm actually on 1.
On 1 screen. Okay. Let me just take the presenter tools back, and I'll try and switch it back to you. So I'm just going to switch it back to you, Maria, to see if we can do that.
So is it working?
No, it's just a blank white screen.
Right. That's something really, really, really weird.
Okay. There you go. We're in. Perfect.
Are we in?
Yeah, we're
wow.
in.
Thank you very sorry about that. Yeah. It's yeah. So to catch up on the time, again, speaking about the core capabilities, that is multi-step and multi-role approvals. So ability to delegate approval decision, that is automated approval routing, that is automated notifications to keep the process running. On top of that, there is ability to create and run reports. There is a couple of pre-built custom reports, and there is ability to create your own reports based on what you need, and ranging from ability to see what the pending requests are, so who the bottleneck is, and a couple of other ones. There is also ability to handle exceptions in the approval process, especially that's very helpful in very complex multi-step approvals. And also there is ability to delegate to force approval decisions and things like that. So in terms of the support for zero documents, ApprovalMax provides purchase order creation approval. ApprovalMax allows to review and approve bills that are pushed from zero, and also there is support for sales invoices and for credit notes. On top of that, there is ability to do bill to purchase order matching and budget control. And also we're working on adding payments to our solution that's bulk approval for payments. Again, to keep up on the time that we kind of wasted. So one of the key features is the ability to raise purchase orders from your phone, or to do approval from your phone. So you have all the approval related information handy, and specifically what's very everybody's happy about it is that the business decision makers within the client, they can make the approval decision on the go anytime that the approval request is raised. So common challenges that ApprovalMax helps solve, among other, that's time wasted on chasing approvers and on routing the approval request by paper, those that are present by paper or by email. That is very much unreliable data that is related to authorization decisions. That is late vendor payment, that is a result of unreliable data as well. And that's complexity, and that's a lot of time that is wasted preparing audits. So speaking about typical client profiles that we have, so there's no direct focus on any industry or any business case, but among those that are most common are those organizations that have multiple legal entities or multiple remote locations. Another segment here is the organizations that have strict compliance requirements, such as not-for-profit organizations, schools, charities, sports organizations, or governments. Those that have a need for audit and for higher traceability of the process, of the authorization process. Also, a big part of the client sector is the investor-driven startups that are in need of rigid reporting and audit. Again, that's the question of having the process on the surface and the ability to prove that there is due processes in place and that there is due control for spending, especially for investor control. So also there's specifically about the purchase orders. So any industry, that any type of business that has a relatively higher volume of purchase orders, that is construction, hospitality, or events management. So those businesses that have a lot of going on and have to control their spending at the level, at the purchase order creation step, that's also our case. And finally, those businesses that operate, or organizations that operate in regions or verticals with a higher level of fraud. Speaking about the typical solution that ApprovalMax provides together based on Xero. That's the bill automation solution. We are data capture system neutral, so we do not care what tool is used, what technology is used to capture invoice details. So that can be data millennial, that can be receipt bank, that can be HubDoc, or a manual invoice entry. We need the invoice, talking about the bills and invoices. So we need the bill to be sitting in Xero in the waiting approval status. And as long as that's the case, ApprovalMax automatically pulls any bill that is in the waiting approval status, pulls that and routes that through the multi-step approval workflow that has been predefined for this type of bill. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what we do. So common benefits achieved, that's again automated reach to remote budget holders and decision makers. That is what is essentially relevant to financial service outsourcing practices, that is shared financial accountability with your clients, business decision makers, so that you are 100% sure that the data that you are processing, that the bills that you are processing, they have been duly authorized, and the payments that you will be making on behalf of our clients, they have been authorized. Another one is the accounting data is kept secure with non-accounting steps taken out of Xero. So again, there is a practice with the small businesses that approvals sometimes are done out of Xero. Yeah, that's a great. That pretty much cannot work for outsourcing cases, and that's a very that's a very high risk in terms of the data access. So there is minimized time and cost of preparing audits, and there is improved data integrity and completeness, which is also a great benefit in case you, as a practice, you deliver high value advisory services to your client. That was very, very high level overview of the product, what it does. Anytime we're happy to do a dedicated demo, and to do that, to get a demo, you can sign up for a demo or a dedicated webinar through our website. So we're not right now giving any direct product demo right now. So and to conclude this overview, specifically for partners, for accounting practices, there is a specific offer for of ApprovalMax Partner Edition. Also, we provide interactive training and consulting on demand. There is a dedicated account manager for any partner organization, especially the one that has been officially certified with ApprovalMax. There is also priority support and a number of other benefits. And lately, we have launched an official partner training and certification program, and we very much encourage everyone, every practice that wants to that has ApprovalMax in there as an app in their trusted app stack, or wants to get ApprovalMax on board. So we very much encourage everyone to go through our training and certification program that's available on partner@approvalmax.com. So I guess then that's it, and I'm happy to hand it over to you, or to Alex.
Thanks so much, Maria. Despite the technical blip, that was really great. A couple of questions have come in. Does this only work with Xero? Does ApprovalMax only integrate with Xero?
That's a great question. We also have support for QuickBooks Online. That's something that's work in progress. So currently, we provide purchase order creation approval for purchase orders that for QuickBooks Online, and there's a big part of it that will be upgraded within a couple of next months, but that's something to come. Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay. And did
mhm.
you have any offers for people on the webinar today?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Are there any offers that people on the webinar can have access to today?
Sure. That the offer is the free partner edition that we'll be very happy to extend to anyone who's willing to get an ApprovalMax trial today.
Great, perfect. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to pass you over to Alex from Release. So Alex, you bear with me 2 seconds. I'll just flip the screen over to yourself.
Dan.
Great, it's all yours, Alex.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Just want to make sure that everyone can see the screen there, Dan. All looking okay?
Yep, looks good.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. So my name's Alex Wilson. I work with Released. And if you're not aware of who we are, we're a pure cloud-based property management software that's really geared towards landlords and managing agents who are today looking after commercial or mixed portfolios. And the reason that we exist is really because businesses have really faced frustrations around a lot of manual data in the industry, a lot of fragmentation between the different systems that they've been using. There's a lot of duplication of work across different areas. And most importantly for yourselves, actually the disconnect between the account side and the property management side. So what we're offering as a modern and intuitive property management system is real-time insights, live data, and actually leading the change in what's been quite a kind of an archaic industry and process so far. And although as accountants, you're not necessarily the day-to-day end user, you as a firm, by building a relationship with Released, have the ability and act as architects of change for your clients' businesses. And really being able to transform the way that your clients run their business by giving them the ability to have tangible efficiency gains across their processes and workflows, by actually allowing them to look at their scalable growth plans and adding new and interesting technology to their business, and actually driving forwards in digital innovation as well. But not only that, actually your clients using Released, because we don't charge on a user basis, you also have the ability to access the platform via our roles and permissions. And some of our clients are using that to see live data, performance and analytics of the portfolio today, and actually using Released and leveraging Released to advise your clients on performance, where to grow, where to look at, where to expand. And it really adds value to your business and your service offering. So that's just a really quick kind of overview of who we are and why we exist. I'm just going to jump into the Released platform itself really quickly and give you a little bit of a demonstration and play around in it. So what you'll see here is the actual dashboard itself, where your clients are coming in for their day-to-day management. But the key takeaway and what you'll see straight away is that it's very intuitive, neat, and actually easy to go around and navigate and see. So I've got all of my key tasks that are falling into the dashboard here to go in action. But I can quickly go ahead and actually navigate around the system here to see things like my properties that I'm managing. I can go into one in particular and see all of key summary of information and details around that particular property. So I can see things around financial information here, key tenants information and all of their lease details. So it's really bringing everything into one centralized solution. And I won't spend all my time going into the individual tabs here, but some of the key things are around the actual invoices that are raised automatically in Released here and flow through to Xero, because we have a seamless connection with Xero. But there's different aspects which are important, such as things like document storage, being able to drag and drop documents into the system here, have your own folder structures, and be able to email and download from the system. So I hope you can see that it's nice and intuitive to use and navigate, being able to drill into tenancies in a bit further detail, and actually see key financial information around their rent, around their payment frequencies, and what's being generated and flowing through to Xero to then go ahead and reconcile as well. What you'll see at the top here is that Released is able to manage all of your income and expenditure from the platform. So I can go in and quickly see a clear view on any of my income and expenditure in the relevant approval process that's paid, that's overdue, and you can drop into these and search and filter by all the key and relevant information. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the flow of how it works with Xero as well. So as the demands are raised and released, they're going to flow through to Xero live for you to go ahead and reconcile. But another instance is also, if I'm in the dashboard here and I've got, let's say, a maintenance task that I've had come in, I need to go and mark that as complete. Within the system itself, you can actually go through the workflow to enter in the completed cost, for example, and create that expense invoice right here from the system. You'll probably see and recognize that it looks very similar to the Xero invoicing side. And all of my information is being pulled through. I've got my contacts and creditors in the system here, Jimmy's Plumbing, and it's pulled through the information, and I can actually go ahead and it's pre-selected my chart of account in Xero that it's related to. But you can see we've got a two-way connection with the chart of accounts to be able to choose what it's related to there as well. What that's then going to do in the system is once you've approved that, it's going to flow through live into Xero. So if I go through into my Xero here, I can see either my number of items I need to reconcile. I can go into my bills that I need to actually go and approve, and I actually sat there awaiting payment. And what I have in here is my Jimmy's Plumbing that I've just had come through, that I've just set up in Release, and it's flown live through into Xero there. And you can then go ahead and action it from the system. So there's a real benefit of having the two systems working seamlessly together. And as things are reconciled in Xero, that's flowing back through into Released as well to update that information. Now, the ability to come in and actually see all of that live information in neat reports, you can go and do this in Released, so in pulling things like property and tenancy reports, but all the financial information here is available, and you can configure these reports. And whether you're having a single entity or whether you've got multiple different entities within Released, again, you can have as many as you like in there. You can go in and report on that live data. Without giving you an in-depth detailed demonstration of a property management platform, that's how the two systems are really working together seamlessly. And it actually integrates not only on the chart of accounts, but on the tax types and also all of the contact information as well. Dropping back just into some further information on the system as well, we've also got a whole set of apps that sit alongside the system. So this is brilliant for your clients to be out and about on the move, actioning tasks, creating maintenance and logging that, adding photos, and flowing through into the Release platform to then go ahead and action and manage as well. Tenants have the ability to go in and request maintenance and see payment information, number of invoices, last invoice, and also go in and actually see their arrears as well. So dropping into the system and seeing a full arrears hub. So as soon as a payment is overdue, they're going to fall into the Released arrears hub for you to then go and send out automatic email communication. And as soon as they've been reconciled in Xero, they're going to be pulled out of this particular workflow. So just another nice little neat instance of how the system is working together. That's a kind of a quick overview in terms of what we offer as a platform, how we connect with Xero, our apps that sit alongside the system there. And I think the real key takeaway here is that we're really trying to drive change in what's been quite an archaic process, an archaic way for a lot of businesses out there, a lot of landlords and property managers. And we're really working together closely with a lot of accounting businesses and accounting firms out there today to try and help build a relationship not only between ourselves, but actually between the client as well. So really giving you the ability to add something to your service offering, drive digitalization across your clients as well. And Grace Thompson, who you can see on screen here, she's our partnerships manager. She unfortunately couldn't make it in today. She's actually out meeting another firm right now. But please do drop in the box there, yes, release, and happy to go into more detail on the actual system, how we're working with different firms today, and what the offering looks like as well. Because so far we've had some really great success of working together with accounting firms to bring across their clients who are moving onto Xero or are already on Xero, and actually giving them an option to manage their property management side in a seamless two-way connection as well. We're also going to be at the Digital Accountancy show, so please do come across and see us there. And happy, please do reach out directly, and we can go into further detail and answer any more questions on Released and our connection with Xero as well. Thank you very much.
Hi, Alex. Great. Thanks so much for that. A few questions have popped in, if I may. So the first one that's come up a couple of times is Released integrated with just Xero, or is it integrated into the likes of QuickBooks and Sage as well?
Yeah, great question. So we do have a number of clients who are using Released alongside Sage and QuickBooks as well. There's not as live a two-way integration between Released and Sage and QuickBooks as there is with Xero. However, we do have a number of workflows and ways in which the two interact, and happy to go into further detail of how that looks kind of offline.
Brilliant. Okay, great. Just a couple more questions. One from Edmund. How does it deal with the service charge accounts versus the statutory company owning the freehold?
Yep, very good question. So within Released, we have a full service charge functionality and management offering. So just drilling down really quickly into one of my properties itself, down in the task down here, you can set up full budgets, direct on charges, utility meters, and you can have your own codes that are allocated to that particular schedule or budget, and it's going to have that either added onto the rental demand invoice, or you can have it as a separate invoice as well. So we've got a full service charge budget, multi-schedule management piece in the system as well.
Great, thanks, Alex. A question has come in here from Tessa. Hi, Tessa. Could this work for an estate agent to manage their properties, or is it aimed at landlords managing their own properties?
Yep, we have two offerings of the system here. So within Released, you can see here I've just got this is the landlord version with my income and expenditure contact documents, and this links with Xero. We do also have an offering that has a client accounting module, which sits up here, where you can have multiple different clients managed in the one system, where you're collecting the rent in, doing all the disbursements, taking off your fees, paying all your creditors, and we have a full client accounting module as well.
Okay, great, Alex. That was really great. Really, thanks so much for that presentation and insight into the software. For anybody that's interested in partnering with Released, just put yes Released in the comments box, and one of those guys will be Grace that reaches out to you. I'm finding in the conversations that I'm having with accountants now, their app advisory and technology advisory becoming an ever more increasing part of the business, and niching in particular sectors is becoming more and more common as well, and property management seems to be one of those popular areas. So big thanks to you, Alex. I'm just going to hand the screen over to James from MyWorkpapers.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alex.
Good afternoon, Dan. Good afternoon, everybody. Can I just double check with you as well, Dan, that my screen is being shared?
Yeah, we've got that, James. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us this afternoon. Just want to give you a brief overview of MyWorkpapers, who we are, what we do, and a brief demonstration of the software. So the idea behind MyWorkpapers is it's a cloud-based application which allows you to complete your audits, year-end work papers, and personal tax work papers in a paperless and as efficient as possible manner. We have a few integrations. So we integrate with a few market leaders within the accountancy world, so the likes of Xero, QuickBooks Online, and Iris Accounts Production. We're also partnered with Mercia, so from an audit and non-audit perspective, you do have access to their content through our software, and we also link with Microsoft Office Online as well. We've recently been ICAW accredited in the past 12 months. As a system, we are used by over 500 firms in the UK, and currently we have 10 of the top 100 firms, including Haynes Watts offices, using our system for audits and year-end work. In other news as well, we've recently raised 3.4 million in round A investment, which is going towards developing and driving the software forward. So within the platform itself, as mentioned, you can complete your audits. So Mercia provide their content for all of these different entity types. From a year-end perspective, again, if you use Mercia's content already, you can use that within the software, or we do have a generic template which you can use straight off the shelf from ourselves. Within the year-end templates, for those of you that do management accounts and want to have management account work papers, you can create those templates within the year-end files. And then from a personal tax perspective, you can use the system to collate all your working papers for personal tax clients. The software is, though, completely customizable. So if you do have any particular checklists that you want to add into the system, you can create those on a firm-wide basis to use moving forward. I'm just going to go into the software. So the first thing you will see when you log in to MyWorkpapers is this dashboard here. This is unique to each user. And the idea behind the dashboard is it just pulls information from the files that you're currently working on, presents those back to you in real time, and gives you quick links to access them. So you can access files through the activity feed, any recent review points, any files that you're working on can all be accessed from the screen. For those of you who are interested from an audit perspective, Mercia also provide electronic versions of their procedures manuals, special assignment manual guidance notes, and example documents. Using MyWorkpapers, all your files are held within the My Files tab here. Obviously, with it being cloud-based, you can access these files from anywhere, and you can search through them as well. So if I just find a file here and access the working paper index. So we're now sat within the year-end working paper file for Bob's tool hire. One thing to point out as well is the functionality across the system, regardless of what template you're using, is identical. So the benefits and features you'll see in here are applicable to audits and personal tax as well. So within the file, you have your different folders and work papers. The work papers themselves and the lead schedules within those folders are built up in parts based on the trial balance information that is entered. So in this instance, this trial balance I've already imported from Xero. So it's got the account descriptions, the figures, and as mentioned, the lead schedules are then pre-populated for us within the working paper index. Within the file itself, if I go into a work paper, so if I choose the planning program, for example, over on the left-hand side, you can quickly access all of your other folders and work papers. Across the top, there's a sign-off process, and whenever you mark anything off within a work paper, it will name and date stamp who's made that change, just to provide an audit trail for you. You have a reference column, so within work papers, you can cross-reference other work papers and supporting documents, and you have a free-form comments box there for any notes that you want to add to the procedures. When you mark off a work paper as completed, the working paper index itself moves along and gives you a good overview of where all the files that you're working on are up to at any one stage. You can change the status of the file, and you can also collaborate with your colleagues through MyWorkpapers. So when you change the status of the file, again, it name and date stamps who's made what change. From a collaboration point of view, if I wanted to pass this file to a manager to review, I can select their email address, pop in an optional message and hit notify. In this instance, my manager would receive an email notification with a link to log into that file. It's really straightforward to attach supporting documents to a client's file in MyWorkpapers. It's simply just a case of dragging and dropping that file. So if I just select this PDF here, I can drag and drop that into a file of my choosing. And if I then want to access, in this case, this PDF, I can open it up and I'll have an in-app view of that PDF. We do also as well have a PDF annotation tool. So any PDFs that you've added to the system, you can work on directly from MyWorkpapers. With the lead schedules that have been populated from the trial balance that we brought through from Xero, we can attach supporting documents to here as well. So if I just this time select an Excel workbook and drag and drop that there, I can then upload that file and again view that Excel documents within MyWorkpapers. The way the Office Online links work, if you have any Word or Excel documents within MyWorkpapers, you can simply open that up in the browser that you're currently working on. You can then make your change or work on the document. And then if I exit out of Office Online, MyWorkpapers will now automatically refresh itself with that change to the workpaper. And down at the bottom, again, you have an audit trail of who's done what and when, and you've got version control built in. Just moving across the top here, we have something called the workflow diagram. So as a practice, if you wanted to standardize your processes for audits and workpapers, you can document this down in here and provide links to the relevant sections that need to be completed within the working paper index. And you can mark those sections off as completed as well. You can as well, if you wanted to make journal adjustments in MyWorkpapers, they can then be pushed out via CSV into financial statement software or bookkeeping software. Likewise, the overall trial balance, you can make your adjustments in MyWorkpapers and then push the final trial balance to your financial statements solution. With review points, so if I just go back to the working paper index itself, we have a list of review points that we've added to the file here. It just enables you to manage any queries that you have on the client file in a really efficient manner. They're sat within the A folder as well. So if I go to the review points section here, you can then work on these and mark them off as resolved as and when they're completed. Once you have completed a file in 1 year, there's a really useful tool as well, which is called the file roll forward. So we're now at the moment, from speaking to other firms, they're spending half an hour plus on creating a workpaper file at the beginning of each year. And it's usually more for audits as well. But with the roll forward feature, within a couple of minutes, you can roll forward that file and create a file for the following year, saving you that time. We also have a couple of useful reports on the system. So if I was to click on to the review points heading here, this will show me all the review points on the system, but more importantly, I can filter down here by a few different parameters so I can see anything that's been assigned to myself, and I might want to see any review point that are unresolved. So I can quickly find on the system any review points that I need to pick up against my clients. Likewise with the workflow manager. So this is a smart report. So this shows every single file on the system. Again, you can filter down by certain parameters. A really useful one is the status of the file. So say, for example, I was a manager within a practice and I wanted to see every single file that's currently sat effectively at my desk for me to pick up. I can just select Ready for Manager Review and it will drill down and I can then quickly see which files require my attention. So that's a general and speedy overview of MyWorkpapers. Obviously, if that's whetted your appetite and you do want to find out a bit more about the software, we can provide one-to-one demonstrations just to go through the features and how they can help specifically your practice against your current processes. If you are interested, please comment yes in the comment yes MyWorkpapers in the chat box, and we'll be able to get in touch. I'd like to announce as well, in partnership with the Digital Accountancy Show, we're offering a 50% discount off any training and implementation that's taken out with a purchase of our software. But thanks very much for your time. Dan, back over to you if there's any questions.
Brilliant. Thanks, James. James, quickly, how long does a kind of full demo into MyWorkpapers normally last?
So we usually schedule them in for an hour. And they'll last between kind of 45 minutes and an hour.
Okay, so let's do this. For anyone interested in a kind of more in-depth demonstration into MyWorkpapers, just put yes, MyWorkpapers in the comments box, and we'll organise a kind of separate demo specifically for the group that are on the call today, and we'll get that booked in for a few weeks' time. So just put yes, MyWorkpapers in there if you'd like to be included. Please put MyWorkpapers after your yes, so we know who you're referring to. A couple of questions that have come in, James. So one's coming from Raj. Hi, Raj. Does MyWorkpapers integrate with Gmail?
It doesn't integrate with Gmail. It may be something that we've got on the development roadmap, but I'd have to kind of go away, find out the answer to that. But yeah, at the moment, you just need to save your email correspondence and then save that as a PDF. Alternatively, we do have a secure client portal, which just because of time constraints, we've not really been able to go into. But within that portal, there's a chat box. So if you wanted to, you could effectively kind of converse with your clients through the portal rather than through email, and then everything's then sat on that client's file.
Okay, great. Question coming here from Sam. Hi, Sam. Hope you're well. Does MyWorkpapers work with document management systems like Virtual Cabinet?
Again, at the moment, that's not the case. May well be something that we look to develop in the future. Quite a few practices almost use MyWorkpapers as a kind of a quasi document management system. So I'll obviously happily have a chat with Sam, go into their process in a bit more detail and how they would want the two to link and what their best processes would be.
Sounds good, James. Thanks so much for that. That was a really good insight into the product. So thank you so much.
Cheers,
I've got a couple of interested people in the kind of more in-depth demo, so we'll get that arranged. Thanks so much.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers, James. Just going to pass you over to last but by no means least, Mr. Gareth Pugh at Fluidly. Hi, Gareth.
How are we doing, mate? All right.
Down you.
Share my screen. Very good, thank you. I've been checking to make sure that everyone stayed on, so they have. So thank you very much for sticking with me. And then hopefully I don't disappoint being the last one. But what I will do is I'll put a timer on because, as you know, Dan, I get into a bit of a, they like to talk, so this could go over the 15 minutes, so I'll time it. I promise I'll stick to it, mate.
Good man, good man.
All right, perfect. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep, we can.
Super. Well, thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you as well. So quick introduction to myself. My name is obviously Gareth Pugh, as introduced there. So my role at Fluidly is Head of Strategic Partnerships. Been in the industry for now on nearly 15 years. 14 years of that's been working with accountants and bookkeepers. So I've done the kind of the hard miles, and then joined Fluidly last year, to help the kind of hopefully the next stage of the machine and the growth that obviously Fluidly's driving at the moment. And then just going into it, just want to do a quick introduction for anyone who doesn't know who Fluidly is. So we were founded in 2016. In that time, we've been obviously very successful around funding, with £40 million money raised, with £5 million that coming from the BCR Remedies grant that was given last year. So that was kind of the work that we're already doing around technology, but also about the exciting stuff that we have planned going forward as well. So good for two reasons. One, it obviously doesn't take up equity in the business, but two, it gives us the capacity, to grow out the team, where the majority of them hires around product engineering, data scientists, to keep on bringing obviously new innovative ideas to, partners and their clients. At present, we work with hundreds of accountant members, and we have tens of thousands of connected SMEs on there as well. So then, what's the problem that we solve, and what kind of area are we looking to cover? So the problem that we have is around cash flow, and you'll probably, in the conversations I have, with partners and talking about their clients, is, cash flow is always something that comes up, as one of the biggest kind of financial pain points. A couple of statistics on there is, 82% of businesses fail, due to poor cash flow management. 48% of UK businesses are cash flow negative, and then 69% of business owners, sleepless due to cash flow. Our founder and CEO, Caroline Plum, when she created Fluidly, was kind of on the back of her own business that she had, a small business she started with. And the way she describes it, she juggled a lot of balls as a business owner, but the one kind of knife that was always in there was the cash flow and not having that kind of insight. And that's where Fluidly's been built, you know, to help obviously businesses sleep better at night, but also try to make up them deficits on them cash flow negative and the amount of businesses that fail on there as well. And then a little bit around the kind of problem that we solve. So in my kind of 14 years of experience of speaking to, you know, accountancy practices on there, the kind of feedback that I've definitely seen over the last couple of years is that kind of more switch from compliance to more kind of advisory roles. Is one is, you know, what kind of service I'm trying to provide. I'm not too sure on that. I don't know how to deliver it. The team don't have the confidence, you know, we don't have the data we need, and we don't know how to sell and take this to the market with clients. Each one of them, and why I've highlighted them, is what we do and what I'll demonstrate with in Fluidly is we give you the ability to try to tick every one of them boxes on there. So we try to obviously help you, you know, build out what your kind of offering would look like, how you would take that to market. We then obviously put, you know, a lot of kind of resource into the team and the training and give them the confidence, not just on the product, but also on cash flow as a kind of topic itself. And then what we also do is, you know, help in how you take this to market. So we'll kind of use our experiences, you know, to help out build out plans and, you know, obviously make it a success for you guys on there. And then, yeah, what I want to kind of touch around is the problem that we look to solve. So we do that in three kind of key areas: the what, the so what, and the now what. So, you know, if let's look at, you've got a 30k VAT bill, you know, it's due in November, but you may not have enough money to actually, you know, go and pay that VAT bill, but you do have £25,000 overdue in invoices. Then the now what is, you know, within Fluidly, you have the ability to go and chase that. So Fluidly will kind of give you the what, the insights and everything along there, is then actually kind of highlight, you know, through the cash flows that the money is not going to be available. But then what it'll also do is to give you the now what of how are you going to kind of fix this problem. So let's go into the software, and I'll give you a little bit more of a demonstration of kind of how this looks. So the first thing I wanted to touch on was the portfolio view. And to kind of preempt the question, so we integrate with Xero and QuickBooks Online. And in this portfolio view is you would be able to link your clients into here, where it would show around opening cash, debtors, creditors. It would then show how many clients you've got. You can then invite clients through the platform and then let them know which clients you have on the Fluidly Lite and the Fluidly Professional. I'll touch on a little bit more difference between them then. But this kind of works like as a really intelligent kind of Office Junior that works within the practice. So you'd have a list of all your clients, but let's say it's a new client who comes through the door or an existing one before you're going out in a meeting. You would actually be able to click on that client and get some real kind of key information around how they work. So the first thing I wanted to touch on here is around the insights. So down the right hand side, as you might see, there's £18,000 that's overdue, and then 5 customers make up 100% of this total. So then it will actually show which customers there would be and what that may be there straight away and how the amounts would be on there. It then also works out the kind of collection days. So it lets you know everyone kind of wants an understanding of what their current collection days are on there. So Fluidly will actually give you that kind of insight. And then also the change dates, what's really interesting. So I guess from you as an advisory kind of role, is 2 reasons why, you know, they went past the expected payment date. So how Fluidly does it very different to the market is once we link it to your kind of accounting software on there, within minutes it'll build out a forecast and pull all the information in there for yourself. But what using artificial intelligence, it actually look at how their clients kind of historically pay. So it won't base it on the due dates that they've set, it will actually base it on how they've historically paid in the past. So if people have went past that change date, that might be a question for you to get an understanding of, you know, how much debt has they've got and what's the process. Should they discuss, you know, different terms of the, say, the supplier on there? Or it might be that they're quite far behind on the reconciliation. They might not have the capacity to, you know, do the bookkeeping. So that might be an opportunity for you to bring that in-house. But what that's doing is it's giving you the opportunity to kind of have them strengthen kind of conversations, understanding what Fluidly is giving you. And then around the VAT return reminder. So what you can do in here is you'll be able to set when obviously the VAT is due, so it will actually flag. And then what we'll be doing, what we're working on, is where it'll actually bring through what the estimated amount will be. So it's kind of giving that insight of, say it's going to be in 20, 30 days, the VAT, and this is kind of the estimate cost that it's going to be. So then businesses can start planning for that as well. Then in a nutshell, you kind of have the biggest payments expected in, and then the biggest payments due out there as well. So when I touched on being that kind of intelligent, you know, Office Junior, this works fantastic for you. So when you have a client who comes through the door, a new one, you understand them so much more from linking them up to Fluidly, or it may be an existing client where you want to have that conversation and understand their business a lot more in there. As I drop into the forecast, so as I touched on before, is what the end users, the kind of clients like, or feedback from partners is the visuals on the graph here. So it'll actually show anything in orange will be the actuals, but then anything in purple will actually, the lightning bolt next to it, will be the kind of future forecast on there as well. So it gives them a really good understanding straight away. It then pulls through all the information from your account software. So every nominal that you would recognize would come directly, obviously, as they would recognize it within their, say, Xero, their QuickBooks on there as well. If I open up a line, so if I go into, say, the month of February, what Fluidly will do is it'll look at any kind of payments received. It will look at any kind of outstanding invoices. But what it'll also do is look at the kind of historical, performances, and it'll also bring through any predictions there as well. So very quickly, you can start adding predictions, you can remove predictions. So what Fluidly will do is it'll give you that kind of canvas of the cash flow, but then it gives you the ability to start building it out there as well. You can do this on a monthly, a weekly, or daily view. You can go 12 months back or 12 months forward. You can pick what kind of bank accounts are brought into that as well. And then what's really popular is the ability to download that to Excel. So if I go and open that up, what you'll see now is this is brought through. So within minutes of syncing the client in, it automatically brings through the kind of Excel format. So anything in grey is the actual, anything in black is the forecast going forward. But what it also does have in there as well, it has all the formulas and everything in. So if you wanted to start building this out, you wanted to co-brand it, and then start offering it as a service to clients, then you have the ability to do that. So as you see across the top, there is a 12-month forecast, but we also have a Fluidly Lite that's based on a 3-month forecast. So it gives you similar features around the insights and around the credit control side that I'll touch on, but also it gives you a 3-month instead of a 12-month, and that gives you the ability to roll that out in mass. So we give Fluidly Lite as free of charge across every single client as part of the membership on there. So if you have 100 odd clients, you'll be able to give every one of them Fluidly Lite. But what you can do is, because of how quickly it syncs with your account software, it means that you can start offering cash flow as a service and scale as well. A couple of bits more to touch on as well. So then you have the breakdown. So this would give you a breakdown on the business, letting you know you can stretch it up to a 12-month period, letting you know the opening cash, the total coming in, the total going out over that period, and then any invoices that are expected to come in or come out. And then you can search by customer or invoice on there as well. And then really excitingly, so one thing as I touched on at the beginning is we keep on building out, obviously Fluidly and moving very, very fast. And one of the new kind of features we've brought in there is around like building out plans, building out scenarios. So that might be where you want to hire more staff. So it might be staff on a salary, a wage. You might want to increase your monthly revenue. What you can start doing is you can then start building these out with the dials. And what you will see is obviously the grey is the base forecast. And then you'll actually be able to see what the cost impact will be against it as well. You can save this and have multiple scenarios running alongside each other. It might be buying a property, renting a property, buying a vehicle. You would have all different kind of ones. And what you'll be able to see on there is how that kind of impacts you, from a cash flow perspective. So it might be increasing the monthly revenue. You can actually see that's what the monthly revenue will increase on there. So you can start getting a real idea, but this is using all the data that Fluidly's got in there as well. And then the final bit to show you is around the kind of credit control side. So we give you the insights on the clients, we give you the forecast, we give you the ability to build out plans, but then what we also do is give you the ability to support them around the credit control side. So in the categories across the top is you have predictable pay, late pay, very late pay. So 3 different kind of areas. Using the intelligence in the software, it will drop them into that bucket. But what you can do is you can then look through them invoices. You can then start obviously chasing them on there. It'll have links to the invoice. It will go out from the user's email address on there as well. And then you'll have a full activity, so like a CRM, where you can keep any notes. So gone where the email might be trapped in someone's inbox, or you have to speak to a colleague to see what's happening with something on there, is actually you can save all them notes in there as well. There's the ability to download data reports, so you can have the data summary and everything on there as well. So that's quite a quick overview of the software. Obviously a lot more to go in more in depth. Thought it'd be good to do it at a later date. But back just to finish on the last couple of slides around the kind of presentation and give you an idea of kind of how we work with our partners on there. So the first thing on the membership that we have and what I wanted to touch around is the Fluidly Lite. So we have the ability on the Fluidly Lite is where you would roll up to a 3-month forecast. You would be able to get all the insights on the credit control and obviously build out scenarios, and that would be able to roll out across all clients. Then if you want to start getting more features, so if you want to start maybe doing up to a 12-month forecast, or you want to do more around the credit control side, or you want to build out more than multiple scenarios and save them on there, is then they would upgrade to Fluidly Professional. So what you would see, I guess, as an accountancy practice is the hardest thing sometimes in the conversations I have is how are you going to take this to market? You know, how are we going to see kind of growth? The one thing that you'll see with Fluidly is organic growth, because you could roll this out to every client on there, and as they want more, they want to upgrade and they want to go on to the next kind of stage, it will show them obviously the product features, but when they click on it, it'll ask them that they need to upgrade. That will then come back to you, letting know the client wants to upgrade. So what you'll start seeing is kind of organic growth through the software. We then do alongside that, so the engagement bit is once you obviously have your clients, we would do insights reports on a weekly basis. So we'll let you know clients who are a good fit for Fluidly, a good obviously kind of fit for advisory conversations, and why you should be talking to them as well. So we'll look at the kind of data with you. So as part of your kind of account management journey, we'll actually sit down with you. We'll give you real insights around the clients to help drive obviously the conversations. We'll support your own marketing. So if you don't have a marketing kind of department or they want to do more on that, then we've actually got a marketing team that's dedicated to our partners to help you around there as well. And then the final kind of bit is what we do around the delivery of it. So we'll, with the portfolio view, is we'll actually be able to obviously support you and, look through the data sets with you. We'll give you full training. So we'll actually be able to bring you up to speed so you know the software inside out there as well. We also have a kind of a cash flow advisory. So we have a website where we have thousands of SMEs that visit that on a weekly basis. It's the ability to put your kind of name up in lights, being cash flow certified on there as well as a way of bringing new business through the door. And then, yeah, one thing that's really popular on that is the ability to around, the support. So we have app, phone, but also obviously on the email support. So we cover all areas with the phone support, being key if you want to pick up. But what we also do is we support all your clients. So any questions that your clients have, then we'll actually take that on board for you as well and give you the ability to concentrate on the more exciting stuff and being that kind of virtual FD and helping them build out the service offering. And then, yeah, final kind of bit is we give you the professional access, for one client as part of our membership, but we give you unlimited clients on the Fluidly Lite there as well. And then just a little bit on the final slide, down the right-hand side is, some really credible wins that we've picked up, that we're obviously very proud of. On the left-hand side is a little way to get in touch, but by, saying yes, Fluidly, it will be the best way, then Daniel will be able to pass the details across. But what we'd also like to do as well is a kind of a, to bring you guys on board and give you a better understanding. We're willing to give it, a free license to yourselves on Fluidly for the life of the contract on there. But what we'll also do is help you get that set up and how you would, use Fluidly and how you would use the best of that license as well. And that's, an offer that's applicable, obviously, to anyone who's attended this webinar today. There.
Nice one. Cheers.
Yeah, hopefully that in a Geordie accent and speaking pretty fast, that you didn't have to translate any of that for us, Dan.
No, good man. Thanks so much, Gareth. That was really insightful. So just to clarify on that, if anyone on the call wants to pick up a free license for their practice, just put yes Fluidly into the comments box on the right-hand side, and we'll get that organised for you, anyone on the webinar. So that's really, really great. A couple of questions have come in, Gareth. I know we're running slightly over time, but just a couple have come in. Is Fluidly a software-only platform, or can you export reports from it? That's coming from Denny.
Yeah, so it's it works software only, so it integrates with the accounts platform, and that's how it brings the data into it. So it's not something that's standalone. It will obviously brings the information, obviously via the API, and then you would use that on the back end there.
Okay, great. And a message that's coming from Nadeem. Hi, Nadeem. Is there any plan for Fluidly to work with Zoho books?
To be fair, there's opportunity for everything in the kind of future. What we do is with the kind of popularity of Fluidly growing on there, we're seeing a lot more kind of software vendors that have been pushed towards us of wanting to work. So I would never rule anything out. It's not something on the immediate roadmap, if I'll be brutally honest on there, but at the same time is it's something that I'll definitely feed back to the product team, and the more that interest we get, then the more opportunity it obviously is for us guys.
Great, thanks, Gareth. And one's coming here from Marcus. What happens when you click take a loan?
When you take a loan on there. So yeah, if you click take a loan, what it'll do is it'll bring out what obviously on the loan itself, and then you can start looking at kind of, like what the cost might be of the loan, and it'll work out what that would impact on your cash flow of the monthly repayments, and obviously show what the boost would be on your cash flow there as well.
Okay, and a message that's coming from Sam. I'm just trying to fire through these guys. Will it work with Sage Desktop?
Not at present. It's not something we work with, so only the QuickBooks Online and working with Xero. But again, similar to the Soho one, is as interest and comes on board there, then it's something that we'll definitely look at all avenues possible.
Brilliant. Gareth, there's some more questions that have come in, guys. My details will be sent round after the webinar, as will Gareth's and all the other presenters that have been on the webinar this morning. So please feel free to reach out to them directly if I haven't managed to answer your question. I've tried my best to fire them through as they're all coming in. But just a big thank you from me. Thank you to everyone for attending the webinar today. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you from our 4 presenters, Maria, Alex, James and Gareth. Like I say, their details will be sent around in the follow-up email. And a big thank you to everyone for the support on the show this year. It's really been overwhelming how supportive everybody's been. So thank you so much. For those that are coming to the Digital Accountancy show on March the 26th, I look forward to seeing you all there. Please do come over and say hello. And ApprovalMax, Leased MyWorkpapers and Fluidly will also be there. Thank you all very much, and have a great day.